Today we dive into 3 raw betrayals that ripped lives apart in an instant, a video from miles away, an ex's guilty confession, and a test that erased a father's identity. I stared at my phone, heart racing, as a shaky video played, my boyfriend's smiling face behind the wheel, cruising toward a city 2 hours from home. He shouted, "Hey baby, almost there," while the dashboard flashed the exact date and time. My mind scrambled for explanations. How could he be heading to a place we'd never planned? The instant I realized the distance, a cold wave of dread settled over me, and the text he'd sent afterward, "Oops, old video," felt like a thin veil over something far darker. We had been together 3 years, a partnership built on late-night talks, shared playlists, and the belief that we'd never need secrets. He was my first serious love, supportive during exams and always the one who remembered my favorite coffee order. Our lives intertwined seamlessly, his roommates were my friends, our weekends blended into one routine. Trust felt natural, not something we fought for daily. That stability made the sudden crack of the video feel like the floor giving way beneath a house we thought was solidly grounded. Looking back, tiny clues flickered like distant streetlights. He'd become overly protective of his phone, muting notifications when I entered the room. Occasionally, he'd mention vague friends at work who needed rides, never naming them. On a few evenings, his laughter lingered a second longer than usual, and his explanations for missing meals grew vague. I ignored the growing gut feeling, convincing myself that long-distance plans or surprise dates explained the oddities. Those small, dismissed red flags stacked quietly, building a foundation for the inevitable collapse. I drove to his apartment, heart hammering, and asked his roommate if I could collect some forgotten belongings. The roommate stared, confused, assuming a dinner date was planned. When I mentioned the video, his face shifted, and he pulled out my boyfriend's phone, still logged in. The dashboard timestamp confirmed the drive happened that very morning, 2 hours away. My boyfriend answered the call, his tone shifting to panic as he realized I was standing there. The silence that followed was louder than any argument could ever be. I left his place with a suitcase and a shattered heart, choosing to cut contact completely. Months later, I finished my psychology degree, channeling the pain into understanding attachment and betrayal. I joined a support group where strangers became allies, and I started volunteering at a local shelter, a place where trust is rebuilt daily. Today, I'm thriving in a career that helps others heal, and while the scar remains, I've learned that my worth isn't defined by someone else's deception. Now we turn to a former lover who returned after years of silence, bearing the weight of guilt and a painful confession. 3 years after we broke up, she walked into the diner, eyes swollen, voice trembling. She told me her new boyfriend, the one she'd left me for, had been a narcissist who emotionally abused her. She confessed that the guilt from cheating never left her, that she'd replayed my face in every nightmare. She begged for forgiveness, for a chance to be friends, and whispered that she missed me every single day. The rawness of her tears cut deeper than any accusation could have. We met in college, fast friends turned lovers after a year of late-night study sessions. For 3 years, we built a life of inside jokes, weekend hikes, and supportive dreams. When she confessed her affair in 2016, the world tilted. She claimed it was a mistake, that she deserved better. I warned her that love founded on betrayal rarely survived. The breakup felt like a shared loss, and for 2 years she drifted in and out of my thoughts, reaching occasionally with apologies that I never answered. Even before the confession, subtle cracks appeared. She grew quiet during our conversations, often checking her phone. Her laughter became forced, and she started canceling plans citing work stress. She mentioned a coworker more often, describing him as supportive, and I felt an uneasy nod each time. When I asked directly, she brushed it off, promising I'd never need to worry. Those tiny, ignored red flags later formed the scaffolding of a betrayal that would later shatter my trust. The night she left, I found a series of angry texts from the other man, full of manipulation and belittlement. She showed me screenshots later, tears streaming, describing his gaslighting, "No one will ever love you like me," and how he'd ended things via a cold text. The realization that she'd endured emotional abuse after leaving me cut straight to the core of my lingering pain. It forced me to confront a truth I'd avoided. Her heartbreak was real, but it didn't erase the betrayal she'd caused. After the diner, I chose not to rekindle a friendship, instead focusing on my own healing. I enrolled in a psychology program, driven to understand why people cheat and how to rebuild trust. I eventually entered a casual, consensual arrangement with a former colleague, not for love but for closure, and walked away once I felt whole again. Today, I'm single, studying to become a therapist, and using my story to help others navigate the messy aftermath of infidelity. Our final tale reveals a test that erased a father's certainty, turning a family's foundation upside down. The moment the ancestry results blinked on the screen, my heart stopped. My 15-year-old daughters showed 0 markers matching my own. She'd been preparing a family tree project, asking why she didn't inherit any Native American heritage from my late father. The lab's confirmation felt like a punch to the gut. The woman I'd married, the mother of my child, stared back at me, eyes wide, as the room fell silent. All the years of love, sacrifice, and trust dissolved in an instant. We married after she announced she was pregnant, believing we were building a future together. For 15 years, I provided stability, while she managed the home, caring for our daughter. I never questioned her loyalty, she never posted on social media, never drank heavily, and kept a tight routine. Our life seemed ordinary, the kind of quiet partnership many envy. The thought that I might not be her child's biological father threatened not just my identity, but the very foundation of the family I'd worked so hard to protect. In hindsight, faint clues appeared. She would sometimes leave the house at odd hours, claiming errands, but never sharing details. She was unusually protective of her phone, never allowing me to see messages, yet never seemed secretive. I never heard arguments about past relationships, and she always emphasized financial stability as a reason she chose me. I dismissed any doubts, believing that love and commitment eclipsed the need for proof. Those missed signals accumulated, hidden beneath the comfort of routine, until the results shattered the illusion. When the test confirmed she wasn't biologically related to me, my wife broke down, tears streaming down her face as she tried to explain. She claimed she'd been unfaithful before our marriage, sleeping with multiple men, and never knew who the father was. She insisted that after learning she was pregnant, she let me believe I was the father because I could provide stability. The room felt suffocating, her confession echoed with every unanswered question, turning love into a battlefield of betrayal and regret. I chose to stay for my daughter, promising she was my child regardless of genetics. We separated, and I focused on rebuilding my life, therapy, fitness, and a new career in passive income investing. My daughter, though angry, clung to me, repeatedly saying, "I love you, Dad." The bond we forged proved stronger than blood. Today, I'm single, supportive of my daughter's independence, and helping others navigate similar painful revelations through counseling and online forums. Trust can be rebuilt, even when the truth feels unforgivable. Betrayal cuts deep, but each story shows the power to rise, heal, and rebuild. You're not alone. Which story hit hardest today? Let me know in the comments.